Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. As we dive into the latest updates surrounding the Montreal Canadiens, there's a lot to unpack. This season, the Habs are entering a crucial phase. After a somewhat tumultuous last campaign, where injuries and underperformance hampered their progress, the team is now looking to make some strategic moves. And one of the most intriguing stories right now involves Kirby Dach, a player who, despite all the potential, has yet to fully live up to expectations. It's a situation that's got fans and analysts alike watching closely because it could define the Canadiens' approach to the upcoming season. Kirby Dach, the talented 24-year-old center, was once heralded as a top prospect coming out of the 2019 NHL draft, where he was selected third overall. That's no small feat for any young player, especially a center who's supposed to be the backbone of the team's future. Dach stands tall at 6'4", a physical presence on the ice, and he possesses a skill set that, if fully realized, could be a game-changer. When healthy, Dach has shown flashes of brilliance. His offensive game can be quite impressive, and he's capable of making plays that leave defenders guessing. His puck handling, vision, and offensive instincts are qualities that make him a potential top-6 forward, especially on a team aiming for playoff success. But here's where the issue kicks in. Despite all the talent, Dach's career has been plagued by injuries. Throughout his time in the league, injuries have hampered his development and consistency. Last season was no different. He played only 57 games, managing to score 10 goals and rack up 22 points, which, frankly, isn't what you'd expect from a player of his caliber. For a guy who was supposed to be a cornerstone on a contending team, those numbers are a bit disappointing, and it's understandable that the Canadiens are now at a crossroads. The Canadiens' front office has been quite clear about their needs, particularly at the second-line center position. They've been looking for someone who can bring stability, offensive punch, and responsible two-way play. And naturally, they had hoped that Dach would be the answer. But given his injury history and his recent performance, the team might be ready to reconsider that assumption. It's a tough call because Dach still has a lot of potential, but the question is, can he finally put it all together and stay healthy enough to be a consistent contributor? There's a lot of buzz around the upcoming training camp. Insider David Pagnotta recently weighed in on this situation, noting that everything hinges on how Dach responds in camp. If he can demonstrate that he's healthy, that he's in top shape, and that he can contribute effectively, then perhaps the Canadiens will hold on to him as part of their core plans. But if not, then the team might have to face the reality of moving on. And that's where things get interesting. Because, let's be honest, the Canadiens aren't in a position to gamble on a player who might not be able to stay healthy or produce at the level they need. Now, if Dach doesn't manage to lock down the second-line center spot, the Canadiens may have no choice but to explore other options. That could mean looking into the trade market or even considering a role change for Dach himself. And here's the thing, while he's still with the Canadiens, it's unlikely he'll stay in the top 6. The team might see him more as depth, a guy who can be plugged into the third line, or perhaps even as a winger if needed. That's a common move for players who show flashes, but can't quite cement themselves in a top 6 role, especially when injuries have limited their ability to consistently perform at that level. Dach's injury history is a significant factor. Last season, he underwent knee surgery, which caused him to miss the remainder of the season after being placed on IR in February. And even though there was optimism that he'd be ready for this season, the reality is that his health remains uncertain. The signs are somewhat encouraging. He's been participating in the preseason, which is a positive indicator. But at the same time, the Canadiens will probably be cautious with him. They need him to be fully healthy if they're to consider him a serious contender for that second-line role. What makes this situation even more pressing is Dach's contract status. He's heading into the final year of his current 4-year deal. Next summer, he'll be an RFA, which puts the Canadiens in a bit of a bind. They'll have to decide whether to extend a qualifying offer, set at around $4 million, according to Puckpedia, or let him test free agency. And given his injury history and recent performance, that decision isn't straightforward. The Canadiens might prefer to negotiate from a position of leverage, or they might decide that parting ways and exploring other options is the safer move. It's a delicate balancing act. On one hand, Datch has enormous potential. On the other, his injury issues and inconsistent production give the team pause. But the key question for fans is, can he finally stay healthy enough to make a real impact? If he does, he could be a valuable piece for Montreal, possibly even beyond this season, in a depth role or as a versatile forward. But if he struggles to stay on the ice, then the Canadiens will have to look elsewhere and reassess their roster construction. This entire scenario is a microcosm of the Canadiens' broader strategy. They're at a point where they need to solidify their core, find consistency, and develop young talent into reliable contributors. Datch's case is emblematic of that challenge: high potential, but also high risk. And with the team's recent moves and draft picks, it's clear that management is eager to see who can step up and help push Montreal back into playoff contention. One thing is certain: this season will be a defining one for Kirby Datch. The team needs him healthy and productive if they're to make that leap into the postseason. And fans, of course, are eager to see if he can finally deliver on the promise. The preseason is just the beginning, but the real test will be in the regular season, where every game counts. Will Datch finally put it all together? Will he become a key piece in Montreal's puzzle? Or will injuries and inconsistency continue to hold him back? That's what everyone is watching right now. And it's not just about Datch. It's about the entire team's direction, their ability to adapt, and the coaching staff's ability to get the best out of their roster. The Canadiens have a talented core, and this season could be a turning point. They've got young players, experienced veterans, and a lot of questions that need answers. But one thing is for sure: if Datch can stay healthy and find his rhythm, it could be the boost that Montreal needs to finally return to the playoffs after a few tough years. So stay tuned, Canadiens fans, because this story is far from over. The upcoming weeks in training camp and preseason will give us a clearer picture of what's to come. Will Datch seize his opportunity, or will the team have to look elsewhere? Either way, it's an exciting time for the franchise, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds. Remember, the NHL season is a marathon, not a sprint, and every game, every shift, could be the one that defines the future of this team. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Canadiens. Do you believe Datch will finally stay healthy and become that top-tier player Montreal envisioned? Or do you think the team should explore other avenues and move on? Whatever you're feeling, it's always great to hear from the passionate community that keeps the spirit of Montreal alive. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for all the latest Montreal Canadiens news. Thanks for watching, and as always, let's go Habs!